Okay, so now what I want to tackle is the elevation. I'm still working in the combined workflow final project, and I'm going to go back to the base map that I've kind of created, and I've just updated some of my blocks and turned off my hatches. I'm turning back on so you can see. So it's kind of what I have for my layout plan to kind of hatch things out. But for this purpose, I want to turn the hatches off and go back to my model. I also went back and opened up the old file that we used, the reference file for the landscape architecture blocks that has elevation plant material in it, because I'll be pulling from that. And yeah, so let me come back here, and what I want to do is I'm going to express how to catch these contours coming through this. So I'm going to draw my section line kind of coming through, let's say here, and it's kind of looking that way, going this way. I put a little arrowhead there so you know for sure. Very clear. Okay, so there goes my little arrow, and there's my section line. So I'm cutting that way. So what I typically do for this, I just copy the whole thing over, because I like having it straight up and down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a reference line here, just a straight line. And I'm going to align all of this information to that. So I'm just going to turn it all. That there. That there. I don't want to scale it though, just wanted to turn it. Okay, now that I have that, let me just offset this line through. Make it above this stuff. Okay. Now delete this extra line and even make this a different color so we can just see. Okay. So this is going to be my initial line, and it's to be my initial contour, my lowest contour. And if I'm playing with this, that I have this brought in at elevation of now it's saying -6. Let's check and see what this one was. This one's elevations is at 0. I'm not sure why it moved when I guess when I moved it, I really moved it. But I know that it's basically, we're gonna just go off this. It's going from 0 all the way to, I'll touch this contour, 6. All right, so I'm gonna offset. I know it's 1 foot contour interval too. So that's gonna be 0. I'm gonna say offset 1, 0. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that gives me my grid. I'm just doing a vertical grid representing the contour lines. It doesn't represent the horizontal spacing between them, but the vertical spacing, which is equidistant because it's a 1 foot interval. So once I have that, I'm going to begin to draw this some reference lines up so I can get my profile. This is basically all sitting on flat plane, and it's beginning to build up in this direction. So I'm going to hit the one that I know first. This is going to be 0, so I'm just going to come straight up. I'm going to put myself in ortho for this, and I'm going to hit that first line because I know that's what that is. I'm going to keep going until I hit the next contour, and that's going to be 1. I'm going to go on again and just keep on hitting the intersection of those pieces and going to the next contour. There. And intersections there. Bam. And I'm going to keep it going. Alright. Keep it going to the next one. Just kind of watch that contour. Boom. Alright. And next one. And then for the last, yeah. And this one goes over to the top. That's where that one stops. And this I know is on the same level, so there's no other contour, so it's really just going to come up to here. It's where it stops. And then I'm gonna extend that actually. Well, let me do this. Now once I have that, I have these kind of points. I really don't need my grid anymore. I can kind of delete that. And now I want to create a connected profile. So I'm just gonna connect this and just using a straight line. Oops. Turn my ortho off. You can do this with a polyline too, and so it has some radius to it, but I just kept it straight for this. So that, in essence, is the profile. So this area is pretty flat, but that's kind of what we're working with. And again, if I offset the 6, or not 6 rather. It's a little bit big. Offset. But we'll do the section cut. We'll actually build this profile and see what's going on with the road first. So that is the beginning part of this, is just to get the profile created, the section line of your section, if you will. So now what I'm going to do is touch all the hardscape pieces as they correlate to this. So I know that's the end unit. I know I'm touching here, so I'm going to come up, and again I'm just using put my ortho back on. I'm going to touch here and come here, zoom out, zoom in, and actually make these things blue so we can see them a little bit better. Okay, so now that's basically going to be the curb, or the edge of pavement rather, and this is going to come up from here. That's going to be the beginning of the curb. And I can kind of begin to go ahead and draw these things. And I know the curb is going to be 6 inches, so 0.5. So you can kind of begin to draw now. I'll make that one red, just so I kind of know what's going on. And all that's going to be the curve on that side. Just offset through. Alright, it's going to be your curb. And I'm working on layer 0 right now. Make sure you're in a layer that you can turn on and off, and layer 0 should work for us for this though. Yeah, so that's my curve piece, and I'll just keep on going. Oops, I go too far. No, not far enough. Alright, and that's going to be that kind of landscape buffer, and where it intersects. Okay. And in this instance, I'm just going to kind of offset just to express where if the landscape's there, it's going to have some kind of thickness to it, and put it below the curve a little bit right there as an acting edge, and just trim that out. And kind of visualize in your mind cutting a section through something, right? So I'm going to show that ground profile and maybe some grass and earth we can kind of pitch there. What I'm not showing yet is things below, and we can begin to put the footers and stuff in. We'll show you some of that. But let's keep on building that profile. This is here. And this is going to represent then the sidewalk. Okay. And let me keep going. It's going to represent landscaped edge. So when I do this, all that portion is going to be landscaped. Right? And maybe we drop this edge a little bit. Just to show the earth and not show the grass. And then on this, we offset. Now this was unusual here that it was to grade, there was no curb, it was just straight to the earth line, that bed, or the bed line. So I'm going to draw it like that, so it comes across that bed, there's no drop. Okay. And I'll keep going, just kind of looking what's going on in this thing. I'm going to offset now and come to here. Hopefully that'll be long enough. Just keep on doing these pieces. There, and these are just going to represent the concrete sidewalk pieces. Let me get those knocked in so just that I know. It's representing the concrete. So what I'm going to do for that is I've already created an offset. I'm just going to extend these now to this. And I had that offset here for my concrete. I'll just do that again. And come over here. And I'll just draw these pieces in so I can keep those as a reference, kind of. Make your points straight up and down. I could extend this, but I'm trying to keep that as a reference to make it easier just to see. And okay, now that I have that, let me. That one's going away. Oh. Alright. And the rest of that can just go away. Okay. Alright, so we got some curve going down the sidewalk. This interior piece is basically that landscaped edge, so let me offset to the landscaped edge. Let me actually do a break right here for this just to make this a little bit cleaner. Just extend this back. Offset through. So it's not everywhere. That's going to come down. And I got nice reference lines there. I'll trim that away. Trim that away, and then I'll notice that's crooked, so ortho, extend, and then we just trim these bad boys out. Okay. Straight. That's straight. No, it's not straight either. That's straight. And just lock that down. Okay. I'm just going to save it as in the same file. Okay, so I kind of have that piece going. And all that in between is going to be road. What is that in between? All that in between is road. All right, so now, make sure this thing's to the cookout. So now what I want to do is keep going. We'll worry about the road in a second. Let me go through, and let me get that oops. Let me curve right down, and right down. Okay, come up, extend it like that, and then this is going to be 0.5, 0.5. Come over. It's on a slope. I'm just going to exaggerate it not to extend there a little bit, roughly 6 inches. Cool. Could have just offset that, but I'm just doing this to make it easy. The next piece is the edge of pavement. I don't really do anything for edge of pavement over here. I'm kind of worried about that. That'll be in the ground a little bit. Alright, and keep going. That's just going to be the edge, basically. I'll imagine that would probably just be road to that. Okay. Alright, so I kind of have a nice base, and I got some elements put in. And what I want to do to make this line stronger and read, I could offset it and kind of let that do the trick. But I'm going to kind of try to express some of these footers in the ground because it is a section, so I'm going to go offset. And I'm just going to go 0.5 for this. I'm just going to eyeball some of this stuff. And maybe we'll make this one a little bit less deep. So let me kind of trim some of this stuff out. So that's going to be that. And then basically that'll be that. And I'll trim kind of all these out from here now. When we start having is just I'm starting to build this profile. And I'll just keep these things kind of consistent all the way through. I'll measure the distance and we'll kind of keep it going like that. So maybe that one looks like that, and I'll just cut this, and maybe, and this one is, which is the what? That's not that big. Well, my bull port, I think, just to keep it even. You kind of anchor in the sidewalk unnecessarily. Okay, and keep it going. Let me trim that. And you can see we're creating this nice line, right? We could just and follow it. I guess I can get this one. So edge of pavement. Go. Get my lines in. Alright, so we have a nice base, and you can kind of get the idea of how you do this now. So you want to go along and finish all these things. Let me kind of keep it going. I'm gonna keep the road kind of there. Maybe I'll offset that. We'll do that like that. Just so that we can kind of see it. And that would be the road. Where else is the road? So I can just get it out the way there. Could have done that. And where else am I doing? The road. This one here. That should be gone. That's road. Okay. That's the road. We'll do the landscape differently. Properties and just trying to get there. Okay, it should be under the subsection here. There. Bam, bam. That's the road. The landscape will be natural, and we'll let that be the kind of the cut line. So that'll be like that. That looks good. So just kind of sweep, boom, boom, boom. And then on this side, that should be Actually, that to that. Let me just offset that through. Should have actually been row 2. So from there to there, let me just offset that through to you. And make sure I extend this line. Kind of trim that out and trim. And now it's kind of being consistent, so it's cool. And what do we have going on that's above ground, below ground? That is the what? That is my sidewalk. So what I want to do is match what I've done before, so I'm just going to offset through. And that's that line. I believe my sidewalk line over here is where sidewalk's going straight up. Is there. So I'll have that. Okay, it's right there to there. Alright, so we go here and here, just trim that out. Or just measure. 1, 2, 3. Measure. Okay, right. And just double check. You might want to leave your guides in sometimes with stuff and you can get lost. This is why I like doing this in 3D. Oh, that's actually the planner strip. So it's that next one, which is right there. So it's not, that's why it looks so tiny, not 0.23, but 0.48. All right. So let's offset 0.48. Much better. Okay. I'll extend that down. I feel better. Okay, almost there. In this instance, from the sidewalk. This is going to be the in between that, and then it's going to be landscape. Okay, which I'm going to cut. Don't need that. And then from here now, we'll do the concrete again, which is 0.48. Oops, I went a little too far, gotta delete it. Okay, let me delete this right here. Alright. What am I doing? That's the landscape piece, and that's the 0.48. So now we offset 0.48, 0.48, offset 0.48. That was right the first time. Offset 0.48. There we go. Okay, now this. sure you extend. And of course you can skip over this painful stuff. Okay. Alright, let me just, so you want to keep on going through this basically and check this. I'm going to have to eyeball this again one more time. I won't bore you all with that. I go through this and make sure it's tight. And let me pause this for a second and get this profile clean. Okay. So, excuse me. So I've gone through and updated all this and got the correct profile in there. And then what I did, I just traced the bottom line with another line. So this is one continuous polyline that I just traced my bottom line with. All I did was trace it. And what I'm going to do with that is just then offset it just to create kind of a cut line. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it to what looks good to me. And that's going to be filled just with solid black. So let me turn off my snap. That looks good to me. Turn my snap back on. Bam, bam. Just follow this down. And that's going to be my cut line because I'm going to do fill. I can do color fills or hatches in the rest of the area. And then I'm going to just hatch, and hopefully my pick points won't trip. It's tripping. So what I'll do is I'm going to combine this box. I'm just going to click this one, the lines rather, to create this shape, and click this. Enter and just join that. So it's one shape, hopefully. Let's try that again. Boom, boom. If that doesn't work, I'll do a PE. That's just right there, so I'll do a PE edit. Sometimes on Polyline, the multi-edit doesn't work, the PE edit works, so I'm not sure why. That's going like that. So that's one shape now. So what I want to do with that, now that I have that one shape, is do the hatch again, but now I can select the object and a lot easier. And drop my shape in. There you go, so I have kind of a nice cut line running along my section. So now I have that, and if you wanted to make that thicker, you could. Just kind of eyeball it and do it. If you wanted to make it look a little bit bigger, you could just, well, explode the line. We won't for this, but explode the line and do it again if you need to. Once you have your profile line, save, of course, and I'm going to draw my pile lines up. Let me start attacking the plant material. So I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit, and I'm going to say just because that tree is there, it's there just to kind of put it there. Well, no, I won't do that. Let me just hit the bush. So in that instance, it's just lawn. It is what it is. So I'm going to come straight up, and my ortho on again, and it's that. I'm looking for those shrubs specifically. I'm just offset. There's not a whole lot of plant material, so this is easy. And there's one there. There's one here, 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 here. I'm just hitting the center point of those plants. So that's all the same plant in that area. Okay, according to this. Now I'm catching some information in the background again, just to give it some entourage. Obviously, if it's along this cut line, I would just get that one plant in a true section, but I'm just showing some stuff in the back. And you can ghost those things out if you want, but I want to make this a little bit more interesting. So then now I'll go to my landscape architecture blocks and look for an appropriate elevation. Let me see here. It's what is that? It's a shrub. It's a carissa. Let's see. I will make something work, and let's make, let me grab this, let me grab that, I need another shrub. Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and just grab the things you think you need for your area. I'm gonna grab a tree from that one. And maybe I'll just do what that's actually gonna render like. I like something that's closed though. Preferably like that or that. And copy and just bring these over here and paste them in. They're kind of floating everywhere. And let me bring this one down so we'll see what it looks like and kind of match the size. So I'm going to scale this as I see, grab that center point, turn my O snap off, O snap huge, and that looks right to me. I'll bring that back up. And alright. Just put this here and move it straight up just so I can actually see it. Put my ortho on. Well, that's what it is. So this would just be scattered. They would kind of be on top of one another. So this might be the best plant. Boom. Boom. Trying to hit the center point of these things. Boom. Should have grabbed it from the center. I'm just eyeballing it now. So this would be this Carissa, and maybe that becomes too busy. And this guy has to come into play. And again, the beauty about using these blocks, you know, I can kind of eyeball it a little bit. Kind of see what it is for that. You know, I could always just take that now and, you know, copy it. And edit block in place and, you know, kind of give myself a marker to where it is in the center, and then delete everything. So man, just delete it, and I can control V that thing in and explode it. And there you go. And when I do that, and when I save changes, you know, do it for all of them. So it makes it easy to make changes and update things. So I'm going to use those instead, and I'm going to focus on those oaks now, so that's done. Just going to delete, oh, let me not delete all of them. Leave one for reference, and I'm going to have that, and I won't grab that one. It's just that one. Come up here and grab one of these trees, like that. Huh. About as wide, it's about right to me. I'll put that down, and I'll keep going. I could put the other ones in the background as well, just to make it more interesting. 1, 2, that was like a 3, 4, and I'll just delete this old one so it doesn't get confusing. Maybe these come all the way through. Boom. Just to give it some life in mind, you can choose what you want to display in yours. Okay. Kind of I copied this one down. What I'm going to do actually is make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make this one just a little bit bigger than the other one. Okay, I'll just copy that thing down. Some of these I'll just, exaggerate. I won't put anything on. That one might get removed. I don't know. Put them back there so we got some trees. Cool. And I can say select summer, maybe, and like draw order, send it back. Kind of help out with some of that. Okay. Maybe that's kind of cut off except one. And the last one's going to be the bam. And then maybe just use that. This is kind of here and there, and just send it to back. Draw over. Send it to back. Okay. I can even kind of recess this a little bit. And I can do that because we, when you kick this thing out, you can drop your hatches in or color, and you can trim this if you needed to. I can edit block in place. Let's say I wanted to like trim that to this. Problem is when you trim one, trim them all, but. And then you can always save that and say, still got a little overlap on some of those, but not bad. Maybe that one comes up so it's not all up in there. You could do this in the render, you just put on a separate layer, but we'll keep it neater for this, just to make sure it's out of the hatch range, just to make it more simple. Looks good, good. Maybe this one is about there, maybe it's shifted just a little bit. Okay. Okay, alright. Cool. And then I'm not going to use that, of course. Save your work constantly, so I save that. And maybe one of these kind of goes away. I don't guess I need all that. Looks better. Kind of see stuff a little easier. Boom, boom, boom. Let me see if I can't grab a person. If I had people in this file or not. Don't remember. Yes, I do. Okay. So let me grab. Keep it simple. Maybe homegirl. Okay, so oops, come back here, and of course drop them in. Should be the right size, and maybe kind of position them throughout the model a little bit, the elevation. Maybe there, and there, and all up in the hatch. All right, and maybe if you wanted to put cars into, I'm expressing this guy here, kind of in the big parking area. So maybe he shouldn't be there. Maybe he should be. Maybe he could be getting out of his car, but it's probably more appropriate a car would be there to make more sense. So you can kind of position these things where it does make sense. Would be better. Okay, because that's that. Alright, so there's some type of correlation. I'm not just delete the whole board though. Just put you somewhere else. Okay. Alright, so now we have I wouldn't say super quick, but a relatively quick elevation that you can scale and do things to and take into Photoshop and do all that amazing stuff too out of AutoCAD. What I want to do too is we'll do that later in the plan view. Ultimately, another cool way of expressing this is to take and have your elevation connected to your plan view kind of on a presentation board and have these the lines that extend down so you understand how it kind of flows into the model. So anyway, we can play with that later on. Once you have that, all right. So now that I have this thing, what I'm gonna do is go to I'm gonna copy this layout. So I'm gonna just move a copy and create. I'm doing that because I already have my title block information there, and just rename and call this section. Double click in here, unlock that, zoom out over here. Maybe I'll just kind of move this up a little bit. And I have my ortho on, just so I can do that. Okay. And maybe just so we can actually see it, you just want to focus on like one part of it, or one particular piece. Maybe you shorten the section piece that you're looking at. Maybe it's kind of to like right there. Pick an appropriate size that you can actually see. Would be nice. I'm gonna use that as a cutoff there. Because that would be cut off anyway. And that's good for me. If you can set it to appropriate scale, that would be good. Actually, I probably should have done that. Let's look at that. Let's see what 1 to 2 would do. Okay, that's still 1 to 4. Let's work with that 20 scale. Let's see what 20 scale looks like. It's gonna be way too tiny, but yeah, it's super tiny. So we'll say 1 inch equals 4 feet, and that'll be an easy one to kind of look at. And I'll just pull that over. PS, there you go. And Control S. And I've noticed that sometimes it's been glitching like that. It does that for you if it's showing color and you've done REA and you make sure your properties are right. I save it and go back into it, and it seems to reload it. So it's weird how that works, but that cut line's a little wimpy to me. So I would probably beef that up some, just give it a more robust cut line so we can see, and update the information here. So let's call it a section. And this is going to be sheet number 2. And you can update this, and what do they say? 1 inch equals 4 feet. So is that 2, 4. Something like that. North arrow is not really relevant here, so there you go. You can put labels in here. Again, I'd make that a little bit more beefy. We can come back to and also add some textures to this, some hatches rather, to make it pop out a little bit more. Just leave it naked for Photoshop. For this exercise, I'll go ahead and drop a hatch in to kind of differentiate between the material. I'm just expressing this to kind of show how you can also show different, show this is actually the earth line here, but just to show that you can show things below grade, and maybe this is gravel or aggregate or something we're putting down here instead of the concrete. So find a way to kind of distinguish between the materials. You do your cut line and make your cut line a little bit more beefy than what I just did mine. And again, to do that, let me just go back and fix that. It's really easy. Just explode that and just kind of delete that and offset through. Let me just make that a connected polyline again. Yes, join, hopefully, and everything worked beautifully. No. Okay, so PE. Bit by bit then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer for this. This is to show you how to do this, and sometimes, things happen, so this is why layers are important. I'm just going to create a layer for this. If this happens to you, you can do this. I'll just show you since I'm doing it. And let's do a cut line. And let me make that like green so I can see. Just so I have it all, put it on cut line. Boom, 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 boom. I'll put that there too. Just put it on cut line. Okay. There's 0. Oh, there you go. What? ISO. Okay. Alright, so now we can put all the there so I can actually see it. Okay. Alright. So this is how you do this. Make sure it's all connected. Boom. Let's just do something that's like way thicker. Yeah, that's better. Delete that old work. I don't think I need that. This goes back here. Just try to delete any extra work you don't actually need. Okay. Anyway, so again. Now what we'll do, I won't bind it this time, but because it's isolated, I'll be able to drop the hatch in much more easily. Just like that. Kind of grab everything and use my hatch. Hopefully it'll allow me to do that. Okay, it's not liking that. Well, I guess I will combine it. I'll be here forever doing this. Take it too long. Then I'll just hatch and just grab it. Every day, but that will look better, and come back to my section plan, much nicer aligned, so we can kind of see what's going on. There you have it. Make sure things updated, your name's on there. Any questions, send me an email or see me in class and just grab me.